Who is it?
It's the delivery guy.
Again?
It's the delivery guy, sir.
Alright, who ordered the food?
Right here, dude. Ah, thanks, dude.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Learning about Cuba? Having some food?
Mr. Spicoli, you're on dangerous ground here. You're causing a major disturbance on my time.
I've been thinking about this, Mr. Hand. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't that make it our time? Certainly, there's nothing wrong with a little feast on our time.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Spicoli. It is our time. Yours, mine, and everyone else's in this room. But it is my class. Hey, you, up here. Mr. Spicoli has been kind enough to bring us a snack. Be my guest. Help yourselves. Get a good one. Of soup?
How are you gonna How are you gonna share soup?
Oh, it's so good, Mr. Spicoli. It's not burning my fingers at all. Oh.
You sure you don't want a spoon?
Doesn't burn at all. Oh, my fingers.
You're going awfully long way to prove a point, Mr. Hand.
I love soup.
This is JPar, and you are listening to the We Promise Nothing Show. Tonight on the show, we have Clayton and we have Dabu. And tonight, we're reviewing Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's right, we're continuing our back to school special. This time, instead of a movie where they're leaving school for the summer, which was kind of odd of us to do, now we're actually doing a movie where they're going to school, and it kind of encompasses the whole school year, I guess, right? So this was done in 1982, directed by Amy Heckerling, stars Sean Penn, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Judge Reinhold, Phoebe Cates, Ray Walston, Brian Backer, Robert Romanus, and others. There's other people here.
I like how you slid Romanus in there. Because he's obviously the coolest guy ever in a movie.
Is he? Well, would you like to elaborate more on that?
Sure, he won an Emmy.
Did he?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
The guy who played Denomi.
Denomi. It's Damone.
Damone. I thought it was Denomi. Oh, it's
Denomi.
Denomi. I apologize, folks. This is my first time seeing this movie. Just gonna lay my cards out on the table right now before I sound like an asshole. Yeah. So this is my first time seeing this movie. Believe it or not.
Yeah, how long did I call what's her name from Blood Wars? There, Kate Beckinsale. I called her Kate Beckinsdale through like half the review, where you guys are like, "You saying Beckinsdale?
Oh, Beckinsdale.
There's no D in there." I'm like,
"Oh my god, it's great."
Well, there would be.
And if you want to listen to that hilarious episode from the past, you can just listen to that on this channel right here, YouTube. One of our classics.
Yeah. Oh, Blood Wars. Oh god. Oh god.
You want to hear us tear something apart? Yeah.
Oh, if you want to hear us just rip into a movie, listen to us rip into Underworld Blood Wars.
Yeah, because good movies, like reviews about good movies are good, but reviews about bad movies are awesome.
And where is this movie going to sit? We're just going to find out in just about a second here. So 1982 is when this movie came out. It's funny because I watched 3 school movies this weekend. And it was Animal House, which takes place in the 60s, but the movie was done in the 70s. And then there was this one here, which was takes place in the 80s and done in the 80s. And then we also watched Dazed and Confused, which takes place in the 70s, but made in the 90s.
Yeah.
Do you think there's something here?
Something right around that time, like late 70s to early 80s, where everybody's like, man, that was a good time. I was having a great time. I was 3.
I'm pretty sure most of them couldn't remember what was going on anyway, because I'm pretty sure those were the drug years.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they like to reminisce on the past. Because they can't remember half of it.
How do you think Doc Brown came up with the time machine idea? Right?
Well, yeah, obviously. Well, he was hanging some picture above his toilet and he fell off. But I mean, he was obviously high.
Anyways, let's get back to not Back to the Future, but back to Ridgemont High and some fast times. So when did you first see this movie, Clayton?
Oh God, I don't know. I must have been about 10, 11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of references I didn't get. Lots of jokes that went right over my head.
Like all the sexual references?
Well, most of them. I mean, come on.
Did you know what Judge Reinhold was doing, like, after he saw Phoebe Cates in that red bikini? Do you know what he was doing in the
No,
mosh
I
pit?
was too concentrating on Phoebe Cates in the red bikini. I was already at that point, I'm pretty sure. But I was like like Judge Reinhold, not a judge.
Did you know that Cameron Crowe was the screenplay and did the book for this? It's kind of odd,
Cameron
eh?
Crowe. That name sounds really familiar, but oh God, he's not a looker, is he? Jay just pulled up his picture on IMDb. I'm telling you right now, if you go to IMDb and look up Cameron Crowe, do so with caution, because he's not.
So he's a writer for Vanilla Sky, Jerry Maguire, Say Anything.
Oh, good, he's a writer. Good, that means he's behind the camera, not in front of it.
Well, he's also a director.
Still behind the camera, not in front of it.
He directed Vanilla Sky.
Really? You're gonna lead with that?
Well, I'm just trying to find something that's good. Like, Vanilla Sky was pretty good.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah,
Almost
okay, it
Famous.
was good. I liked it.
Almost Famous was a good one of his, actually, I think.
Oh,
Isn't
there you
Almost
go.
Famous, is that the one?
Well,
where
he wrote for that one.
Right. Well, in my opinion, that was one of the stronger points of that whole film was the story.
Is Almost
So I didn't
Famous
realize
the
he was
one where the
involved.
kid follows the
No, he directed it too, actually, Almost
Stillwater?
Famous.
Stillwater,
Yeah.
He directed Jerry Maguire and Almost Famous. actually.
Well, Jerry Maguire, yeah, okay, he gets a pass for that. For
So
sure.
there you go. See, he's
Just a
done.
pass.
He's done something.
Great hands, great mind, not a great face.
But I think you'll know him more as, and I think it should be here. Where the hell is it? Oh, he's not who I thought he was. Never mind, folks.
An entire tangent with a dead end. Awesome. Welcome to season
Well, now
4.
you know about what's his name again?
Cameron Crowe.
Right, that guy. So carrying on.
I heard, like, now I know more. I had no idea who he was. I just recognized his name. Now I know all this stuff about him, and it has nothing to do with the movie.
And now all the people listening to our fine show know a little bit more about Cameron Crowe's life. He became...
Because knowledge is power.
Ding! The more you know.
The more you know. Doodling.
Alright, so you saw it was 10, so you didn't get all the dirty references, but you knew you liked Phoebe Cates.
Well, yeah. She was also in Gremlins too, right? Which I saw probably
And the
right
first
around the
Gremlins.
same time. Yeah. So, I don't know. There was lots of funny stuff to watch.
Gremlins 1 and 2. Wait, don't forget about the first one.
Don't bring... No, I said... No, I meant
just bugging you.
Gremlins as
As
well.
well. All right.
Gremlins 2.
Cool.
But yes, also Gremlins 2 as well, too.
I'm confused. 1 plus 2, Gremlins 3? Is that what you're saying?
Oh.
Confirmed! You heard it here first! Gremlins 3!
coming out.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Starring the We Promise Nothing crew.
Bring back Phoebe Cates.
Yes! Phoebe Cates and us. That's all the movie needs.
I forgot the hashtag.
Maybe a gremlin.
Wow.
Maybe a mogwai. Just as long as Phoebe Cates and us are in a movie
Oh, my
together.
God.
That's the hashtag in there somewhere.
Hashtag We Love Phoebe Cates.
Yeah, I saw it when I was a kid. Lots of the jokes went over my head, but it was still funny. Sean Penn stole every scene he was in. Judge Reinhold was a goof. There was a sports car in there. I don't know. There was just lots. It was lots of fun to watch.
All right, Dabu, is this your first time seeing this?
Actually, this was. You know what? I was always aware of it. I kind of had an idea that it was a bit of a... I guess you could say it was a copycat of a lot of other, teen angst movies, I think we called it.
Teen angst?
Because there's quite a... Yeah, a coming-of-age movie might be a
That's
better
better.
way. I guess when I saw this, I noticed that they tried pulling elements from other movies
I
I'd
think
already
like Breakfast Club is more of a teen angst thing.
Yeah,
Well,
Ali Sheedy, right?
Honestly, this was filled with tons of teen angst. It's the fact that as growing up, you get a lot of that same tone throughout everyone's experiences, trying not to let puberty get in the way of your manhood, or even
I
vice
suppose
versa.
you're right.
I think the young women are actually the more focused here than the young men were. The men were always their lives were falling apart just as much as Judge his character, was falling apart all around him.
The guy who thought he had everything together because he worked at like a burger joint. He had a car. He had a girlfriend. This is my last year of school. I'm gonna, I'm growing up.
Explore my options.
Yeah.
But did you guys realize there's actually a lot of cameos of other actors that show up in this film that are not quite as strong, not as quite as needed. Like Nicolas Cage, I didn't realize he was in this. Jason's all shocked, like, what?
But
Nicolas Cage, he's barely in it. But
I never recognized Nicolas Cage in anything.
I recognize him a mile away because his eyebrows up his bushy eyebrows.
Well, Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker
was another surprise. Actually,
but those aren't really cameos. These are people aren't established actors.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I'm just saying that this
Brad's
was a character.
bud. Oh, I see.
It wasn't exactly a character I was
And
expecting.
he was billed as Nicholas Coppola.
Yeah.
Which is probably his actual real name.
No, he's not. He's not Nicolas Cage. He took Nicolas Cage from Luke Cage because he's a big comic book fan.
Yeah, exactly. So his real name is probably Nicholas Coppola. There, another thing that you know now about another actor that you learned on this show.
You learn. This is why you listen to the show.
We promise nothing, but you learn something.
It's kind of like that Alanis Morissette song. You learn. We learn. Read IMDb. We learn.
Naked in a subway crying, you learn that you don't like the music of Alanis Morissette.
You learn.
No,
God, we're so ironic.
See that video? What was that? Anyways, that was 1996.
That was the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're talking about a movie that happened in the 80s.
Yeah.
Clayton.
Now we're back to the 80s.
So now we're back to the 80s. I know we're like time traveling a bit here, folks. I'm very sorry about that.
It's tangent time.
Speaking of teen angst, the 90s, eh? Am I right?
The whole damn decade.
The whole damn thing, like Nirvana
and junk. Yeah.
And junk, yeah.
Third Eye Blind.
Whatever.
Right? It's him, I must be lonely.
One thing I love about this movie, like a lot of movies of this time period, was the cars. I absolutely love the classic cars that keep showing up on screen. That's just something I can throw out there. I never get tired of that.
Unironically, because back then they weren't classics yet. They were still...
Well, that car was a classic, though. That car was from, like, the 50s or something.
Wasn't it a Camaro that he had? Or is that... Are you talking about Reinhold's car?
His blue, Reinhold's car.
Oh, I'm talking about Whitaker's car.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had a nice car.
Oh, no, the muscle car is one thing. No, I'm talking about that classic... I thought it was a Cadillac.
Yeah, what was it? I think you did have a Pontiac.
I can't even remember what it was, actually.
I don't know either.
This movie is like... I've seen
Fact
it
check.
so many times that I didn't even... I didn't watch it for this review because I've seen it so many times. I just...
Oh my god!
What?
You didn't hear that. No, you
No, I didn't watch
that.
it for the review because I've seen it so many times. It's like...
How dare you!
Oh. Well...
I'm just joking. For
If you did it like...
for Dazed and Confused, I've seen it so many times. I didn't watch
it either, I don't think.
I didn't have to because I've seen it so often.
Oh, yeah, like...
This was my first time, so I had to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you give this? What do you give the rating this? Rate this movie, and let's not get into so many spoilers where you're breaking your best and worst.
I'm going to give it a 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie, it's funny, but by the time I was old enough to understand the jokes and stuff, like all of the jokes, it was already... Dazed and Confused was already out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, this movie, I feel people from
Did you
the
see
80s
Animal House after or before this?
Oh, I can't even remember when I watched Animal House.
Yeah.
I know I've seen it, but it's like... It's one of those things where
Do
you're
you
like...
remember
I know I
liking-
have, but like when? Yeah, Animal House and Porky's and Meatballs
Porky's.
and...
Yeah.
What else? Van Wilder. I've seen all those like college and high school movies. I've seen like all of them.
So out of all those, this one ranks at a 3.5.
This is which is like it's a 7 out of 10, right?
So it's 3.5 pizzas
3.5
ordered by Spicoli.
3.5 bowls of soup. 2 pizzas and 1.5 bowls of soup.
Okay. I love soup.
I love soup because I love soup. Yeah,
Dabu.
3.5. Wow. I can only give it a 3. 3. You guys said at first it's fun, but I think after a while, I think the disadvantage I have too is I've seen this after I've seen Dazed and Confused. I don't think I've even seen Animal House. I'm always aware of these teenage growing up of age movies, but I never really caught on to them as much as some others did. I'm kind of glad because they're all starting to seem the same after a bit. But Dazed and Confused was the more iconic. It probably had a little bit more, I guess, flavor with all the casting, as I pointed out last. This one didn't have the same star power. It was more like, I guess, trying its best to mirror image that same kind of movie, but it didn't carry enough weight to it because of the casting. So going into this scene for the first time, I felt like I had to literally pick at the little things that made the movie fun. One of them was, that sleazeball. Damone, thank you. Like, he's interesting to watch, but nonetheless, you know that he's always in it for his own gain. You know, even though he was trying his best to help his buddy out hooking up with that one girl. You know, there's characters like that really make me just turn my stomach.
But you know he's a scuzzball right away because he's scalping the tickets. And he's like, hey, I'm not a scalper. And then the kids are like, he settles on 20. And he's like, what did I say, 25? Like, 20.
Yeah, he's a haggler.
Well, you know, say I'm an entrepreneur or something.
Yeah. I'm providing a service.
Yeah.
I'm providing a service, right. Scuzzball.
Speaking of service, when the really uncomfortable sex scene between him and... was it Jennifer Jason Leigh there?
Yeah. Where he was just so damn excited he couldn't contain himself for more than 30 seconds.
I'm an entrepreneur who also doubles as a...
Well, he brags about being good with women, all that, to his friend.
Yeah, his key thing is the first side of Led Zeppelin 4.
Yeah.
Got it in the bag. Like, are you kidding me? Not even the best side.
Yeah. I always found it was kind of funny that... So yeah, there's two things I like. When I saw the poster, I always saw Spicoli, right off the hop, like Sean
he's the
Penn.
face of the movie.
Yeah, I kind of don't know why, because it does seem like it's more about the girls and
Reinhold.
Well, they seem to concentrate.
Reinhold and also the guys who are involved with the girls too, right?
Yeah,
which is Damone and what is it? Is it Mark Ratner? Rat? Did they call him Rat?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Rat.
So yeah, so it was more about them than it was about Spicoli. At least I found, even though he seems to be like the head guy in this.
Yeah.
But definitely, even before I even seen this movie,
you knew who Spicoli was.
I knew who Phoebe Cates was.
Oh, okay, that too.
But this movie, I knew about that scene.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't even know. Really, I'm like, it's from this movie. That's it. I haven't seen the rest of the movie, but I knew.
The scene Jason is referring to is
Phoebe Cates taking her red bikini top off.
Yeah, getting out of the pool. The Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool scene.
Right. Which was amazing because I was already in love with Phoebe Cates because of Gremlins. So.
Yeah. She was actually she voiced as Kate Berenger in the Lego Dimensions.
What a waste.
Game, which is weird.
That is a waste.
I know.
Voice work is not what she's around for.
But honestly, Drop Dead Fred was the last really big movie that she starred in.
And I liked her in that movie too because she was just she was kind of a beautiful mess in that movie, but she was just she was like what was going on inside of Ali Sheedy's head in Breakfast Club. She was just a hot mess, but she was entertaining to watch, and so was Fred.
I don't think I've seen that movie from beginning to end. Either.
Drop Dead Fred?
Yeah.
Oh, it's good. 13-year-old me thought it was good. might have to go back and watch it again.
Maybe it might still be good. Not sure. All right, so that's what I really remember. I knew of that before I knew. Pretty sure the mic picked that up.
That was brought to you by an IMDb picture of Phoebe Cates.
All right, train is going off the rails. Yeah. So I guess we're giving a rating. This is my first time seeing it though, from beginning to end. So I'm going to say 3.5.
Yeah.
3.5. I mean, it kept my attention the whole way through. I can imagine, after watching it a few times, it probably wouldn't be a 3.5. Because Animal House is a little more fun, and so is, Days of Confused is definitely way more fun.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's kind of some heavy subject material on this one.
Yeah.
Just with Jennifer Jason Leigh getting impregnated by the douchebag.
Well, because it takes place over the span of an entire year, right? So you get to see the resolution to some of the character arcs, and you get that teenage wasteland vibe where it's just the endless ups and downs of being a teen throughout an entire school year.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Dazed and Confused, you see like the span of like one day, or it's just the one day. It's the day of school, and then the night of the party, and then the next morning they're going to pick up the Aerosmith tickets. But this is across an entire year, so things that happen earlier on in the movie, you get to actually see them develop and see how they play out on the characters themselves.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that's the difference between this, as opposed to, say, Dazed and Confused, which is just the focus of the end of the summer, and this kind of like encompasses maybe like the full
Dazed
year.
and Confused is the beginning of the summer.
Or sorry, beginning of the summer, end of the school
Because they're
year.
leaving school, yeah.
End of the school year.
I think that's why, for me, between the two, this one here didn't carry as much weight with the characters, whereas Dazed and Confused did. And I think that's why there was more emphasis on the personality that, shone through Dazed and Confused. This one, they try it. I see it in a lot of scenes where the characters are certainly trying their best to give you that authenticity of what it's like to live, in those teenage years growing up. But Dazed and Confused did it much more justice, I think, with the characters being more memorable. This one here, I can forget about it just as quickly as I've seen it. That's the sad thing. I shouldn't be able to say that about a movie.
I think that out of this, it depends on like what you're looking for too. Like at the time, like movies were made different in the 90s than they were in the 80s, than they were in the 70s. And out of all three of the ones that we've talked about, Dazed and Confused, this movie, and Animal House, this one has the farthest reach for being a classic, though. This movie fueled the 80s, and the references that have been pulled from this movie extend even till today. You know what I mean? The Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool scene is, it's legendary. I mean, let's face it, it's legendary. Spicoli as a character, even the Reinhold scene where they're talking about how Spicoli rescues Brooke Shields and then blows all the reward money on getting Van Halen to play as the party or birthday party or whatever it is.
I will say it is iconic and it is influential, but I think Animal House is way more influential.
Oh yeah. Oh, you think it's more? Well, maybe more influential, but
when's the last time you saw Animal House?
Oh, a long time ago.
You should. I watched it again recently. I'm like, holy shit! I never realized how many movies, comics, and just everything is inspired by Animal House.
But National Lampoon in the late 70s, like they were the kings, man.
Yeah.
Caddyshack and like all those movies.
They went on.
That's not really one of theirs, is it? Caddyshack.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Caddyshack.
Is it?
Caddyshack is like, I think I want to say the first National Lampoon movie, but you'd have to fact check that.
To this day, they continue that trademark, right? That whole. They've done so many movies, National Lampoons, right, under that umbrella.
I don't think that they really pushed it as a National Lampoon's movie, but it was done by National Lampoon guys.
Oh, okay.
But like going through the 80s, like this movie, well, it had a long reach because you still see the references pop up. And I think that maybe the fact that it was made like 10 years later. What year was Animal House made in? What was it? 65? 75?
I'll fact check that.
Yeah, I even the fact that Fast Times at Ridgemont High was the first of a breed of the 80s. 70?
78.
Oh, 78, okay. Was the first of a breed of 80s movies. Like, it really pushed it pretty far.
Well, it definitely pushed it far because this is definitely a precursor to, say, American Pie, which I found was like, and you said Porky's as well, and Porky's as well. I don't know what came first, Porky's or this, but they were kind of like.
I'm pretty sure that
Porky's is probably
Porky's
before
was
this.
First,
Yeah. So there already was, I guess, something already predetermined for like these raunchy kind of comedies, because even Animal House is raunchy itself.
Yeah. And National Lampoon's Animal House is a National Lampoon's movie too.
What did I do? I forgot to check. So Animal House, yes.
Oh yeah, Porky's is 81.
All right, so what's your best and your worst?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna hog the big one.
No. Keep it in.
My favorite part of the movie is still the Phoebe Cates pool scene.
Put it back, Clayton.
I'm a dude. I'm sorry, man, but that Phoebe Cates was so good looking, and it was shot slow motion. She's getting out of the pool. she's starting to take her top off.
I mean, the
come
fact
on.
that I knew of that scene before I knew.
But where you
of
saw the movie, that's what I
yeah.
mean. It was such a big deal. Like, it's such a base thing. I'm sorry. But in a movie about nothing but drugs, sex, rock and roll, and high school years, I mean, that scene is the one that always sticks out. It's the one that I always remember.
It's another reason why Spicoli leaves the scene immediately after.
And
I don't know what the worst part would be. It's the worst part.
Caddyshack is not National Lampoon. It's actually written by Harold Ramis and directed by Harold Ramis.
Yeah, but it's still all those guys are National Lampoon guys. Look into it. I'm telling you. Look into it.
Chevy Chase, yeah. So your favorite is... I know you're distracted. Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
So
of
now,
like,
what's your least favorite?
I think Rat. Just this whole character.
His whole character.
I didn't really... You know what, actually, I'm not that big of a fan of Jennifer Jason Leigh either. Like... And that sounds weird to say because everybody's like, oh my god,
She's attractive in this movie.
Yeah, but it's not just about attractive. I just didn't see what everybody else saw in her for acting talent, and they're like, oh my god, she's gonna be a megastar. I just didn't get that from her. Her and Rat had the less interesting story arcs as far as I'm concerned. Reinhold, Spicoli.
It was really a lot based on her, though, and her decisions she was making with guys.
I know, it was, but I wasn't watching her when I was watching the movie. I was like...
watching Phoebe. You're like, oh, that Phoebe Cates scene is coming up soon.
Well, not the first time I watched it, but every time after, yeah. But, I didn't really pull that much from their character arcs, even though, like... You're right, it's all about her, and even at the end, what's the closing text... Rat and her are dating steady and still haven't gone all the way.
Oh my god, isn't that awful?
I was like, whatever, come on. Like, nobody's that pure. Especially not after they've been with
Yeah, fuck you, Rat.
Yeah.
Just say it. Just say what you feel. This is a place of openness. This is a place of honesty.
I got more from all the other characters. They were more interesting to watch. I mean, Damone is such a scumbag. Spicoli was the stereotypical surfer burnout. Like, they show the one scene where he's getting out of his van. He's got his Beetle minivan there, and he opens up the door, and smoke just rolls out of it, you know? And this is coming out off the end of the 70s. Like, all the stereotypes were there. And they were really interesting to watch, except for Jennifer Jason Leigh and Rat. And I don't even remember what Jennifer Jason Leigh's name is in the movie, really. Stacy, yes. Oh, how 80s. Probably with a little I at the end, a little heart over the I.
No, just a Y.
Yeah, we'll see.
Stacey Hamilton and Brad Hamilton was Judge Reinhold, their brother and sister.
Yeah. Brad. Judge. Again, not a judge. What a disappointment. Who names their kid Judge, or why would you choose to name yourself Judge?
Maybe they really did want him to be a judge. It's like, screw you, Dad.
I'll be the Judge Reinhold of that.
I'll be the judge.
There's an expression.
Well, it's just weird, you know? Like, I always thought it was such a
Screw you, Dad. I'll be the Judge Reinhold of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be an actor.
I mean, Judge, come in here. Yes, what are you doing with the rest of your life? I'm going to be an actor in, like, 2 movies. And then you're going to become a judge.
3, if
Can you imagine if he became a judge?
Beverly Hills
Supreme
Cop
Court,
1 and 2 and this movie.
Supreme Court Justice of the Peace presiding. Judge Reinhold. Would you go by JPar?
They made that joke in the Clerks animated series.
Really? Oh, I never watched the Clerks animated series.
He was Judge Reinhold.
Oh, that was a thing? Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wow, great.
And it was actually Judge Reinhold doing his voice. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
God.
Well,
stage names, right?
Just added to his resume.
Stage names for these people, like even Judge Reinhold, like the kid from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard. Give me a break. Give me a break, man. Your name is Chris. It's probably Chris
Perkins
or Chris. Something, you know,
what?
something more.
Well,
like
I doubt it's
he's like looking in the mirror.
How would you spell that?
Yeah, go to the 8. No, you know that his mom or dad named him. Yeah, Finn. Yeah, look at Finn Wolfhard. Yeah, like.
Sounds like you should.
After he like.
Who knows what actors think when they change their names?
All right. Well, maybe he's really a D&D fan, like he is in Stranger
Oh,
Things.
yeah.
And his character name is Finn Wolfhard.
Yeah. A simple bard just trying to make a living.
All right, so
In the
so is that your best and worst? Best is Phoebe Cates. Worst is
Rat? Stacy and Rat's story arc.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just
That's like half the movie.
yeah, but the other half of the movie, I mean, the Phoebe Cates pool scene gives it like a point alone out of the 3.5, right? So it's a 2.5 movie. So the 0.5 comes from the negative 1.5 comes from Stacy and Rat's story, and then the other 2.5 comes from Damone Spicoli and Forrest Whitaker.
And Forrest
The
Whitaker.
30 seconds he's in the movie.
Oh my lord. Dabu, you wanna let us know what your best and worst are?
Well, there's really only a handful of scenes I think that really stood out for me. I think the one where I kind of laughed out loud the most for was immediately after following the scene with damn, I forget his name. Sorry, Spicoli. Spicoli crashing the car.
Yeah.
And then immediately following it up with, "Oh, I know exactly what we're going to do," and he frames the other school for having caused it, which fueled the fire within Mr. Forrest Whitaker's
Mr.
character.
Whitaker,
Angry
Charles
Forrest-
So
Jefferson.
angry so that he literally demolishes the next
other team.
football team in their next
Yeah,
game.
that
was hilarious to watch, because the more I saw it building up to that moment, and every time they would show Whitaker's character on in front of the camera, he was fuming, like he was ready to tear someone apart. And I just laughed that much more because of it. So there was that. The other, what was the other I had in mind there? Actually, I think the other just had to be, I think it was the ridiculousness of Rat and how naive he was normally, because he was always trying his best to kind of get the girl, but the girl was always just out of reach because he was just too nice of a guy and too shy. But again, that stereotypical scene where you have to love the guy, but at the same time you want to smack him upside the head because he just
definitely
wanted
want
to get some balls.
I'm kind of there with you guys. I wanted to smack him upside the head myself. I
But-
mean, he had it in the bag,
Yeah.
and he's just like, I gotta go. Like, what are you doing? Like, I've seen like some characters in movies just blow it, which are just like natural mistakes that guys would make. But this guy, he was there, and he was just like, I gotta
Pull the
go.
trigger, man.
Like, what
Shit,
the
or get off
heck,
the pot.
man?
Seriously.
She did all the work for you. Anyways, go on.
Well, now those were the only two things really that stood out. The rest of the film was kind of just, it was just there. I know what Clay was saying. The scene with, the scene out of the pool. That was fine, but
Oh, fine.
I mean, I love watching it over and over again. But I'm not going to really reminisce about
How many
that one
times did
scene.
you watch it over and
Can
over
you
again?
actually wear out a DVD? Like, can you wear out one spot on a disc?
I don't know.
Rewind
Is your
player.
copy of Fast Times at Ridgemont High worn out at that section?
He
The
just
VHS
copied
copy
it.
doesn't even work anymore. I'm pretty
He just
sure.
went out of his way to copy that one section of film and then just put that specifically
gift.
on a disc on its own. It's
It's
a gift.
It's
that
a
just
gift
reloops.
that I just loop on my computer constantly.
Actually, you know what that scene reminds me of wholeheartedly was right out of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with that one brunette who's dreaming of her coming out of the imaginary pool. And
Oh my
she's
god.
pulling herself out of the pool.
The store
that whole
clerk?
scene.
Oh.
Yeah.
God, jeez.
I feel like that was inspired strongly by this. Who knows? Maybe it was inspired by something else.
The women are going to love this episode. I'm telling you.
Well, whatever.
Hey, those scenes were put in there. I mean, we got to comment on it. Sometimes.
It was directed by a woman, Amy Heckerling. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
She got good taste?
yeah, she knew what she
What was my
doing.
least favorite though? That's the tricky part because
So that movie's 89, so this must have been influenced by that.
well, I could see it easily being influenced by it.
This is like, that movie was after.
This is 82.
That's what I mean.
and
Christmas
what-
Vacation.
Anyway, so what's your worst?
Oh, how can I say? My least favorite, I think, was because it was constantly focused around the women more than it should have been.
Yeah, just check Giphy.com just so you guys know. There is a GIF of Phoebe Cates getting
Oh, I
her
could've
photo.
figured
Of course there is.
And her like head pops up and she's like, "Hi, Brad."
Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
Oh, I love these.
You guys are awful. So...
Hey, well, I'm being honest. I feel like there's just too much focus on the ladies when really it was all about them going through school. You know, it was had to be with. It was always focused around how often can these two girls get laid. You know what I mean? That's what really bugged the heck out of me.
Okay, so that's what it bugged you about it. Is that there was the two women trying to get laid?
Just too much focus on that alone, you know, because there was so much other backstory. For instance, Spicoli. We only see him a handful of times. He's clearly one of the more staples of characters in this whole movie. Yet I don't see enough of him. I would have loved to have seen more Spicoli. You know,
Spicoli.
I don't know.
He's a poster guy. Like, he's a poster boy for the movie.
I don't think that Sean Penn ever reprised the role of Spicoli after this either. But I imagine he was offered to. I will pretty much guarantee that somebody rolled up to his house with a truckload of money and was like, "Hey, spin-off?" You know, like, honestly, like, come on.
His own TV series?
Yeah, something.
Sean Penn has gone on to do so much better film.
There you
Well, you
go.
see him on, like, what is it, Mystic River there? And you're like, man, is that even the same guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
God. What happened to you, Sean Penn? You're so angry.
You used to be so cool.
Him and Milk, like, look at the pictures.
21 grams, dead man walking.
Go back up to his picture on IMDb, his major mug. Like, look, is that the same guy?
It doesn't look the same, right?
Age will do that to all of us.
Well, it's not so much the age.
He's got like a sneer on his face.
Exactly.
Like, I feel like when he looks at you, you did something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm sorry.
And
then look at that face. Like,
yeah, man. Like, yeah, he's just so.
That's like before he discovered that life is gonna beat you down.
And
then that's why his demeanor just changed.
It's exactly when Spicoli got his first job, and then he got totally serious from then on. That's exactly what it was.
It's like Dead Man Walking. I got an Academy Award. I'm good now.
Yeah.
Did he get an Academy Award?
Judge Reinhold spent 2 years on his couch after this movie, and that's when he got serious.
Did he get an award for Dead Man Walking, or was he just nominated?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you.
I don't remember. I know 21 Grams, he was definitely nominated. I remember that. If not,
Dead Man Walking. Oh no, I'm thinking of Leaving Las Vegas. What was Dead Man Walking about?
He's on death row.
Convicted killer on death row.
Oh, well then, I should watch that. It seems like it would be a good movie.
Anywho, before we get sidetracked even more, just stare at IMDb. This is fantastic.
Well, yeah, get a little dead there, but no.
So your worst was you said
too much focus on the girls.
Not so much that. Just what their focus was is that they were wanting sex all the time.
Specifically, always wanting to get laid. You know,
it's high school, man.
I know, but
like
there was so
existence.
Look, the most of the film was focused around how these two broads could.
But even the guys were focusing on getting laid too, though. Like,
but they were successful at it.
Well, they were.
Two chicks.
One of them was successful. The one of them could be successful if he wanted to, but chooses not to be.
Sheriff pulled his head out of his ass. Jesus. I don't know. It took too much focus away from the rest of the film for me because I lost interest after a while when I constantly noticed that it was always going back to the two girls talking about, you know, the tricks of getting laid, you know, or one was trying to get tricks off of the other. That it got so boring after a while.
All right, well, I'm going to get into my best and my worst. Oh God! You already said Phoebe Cates.
You
went on and on about Phoebe Cates. I can't even say that. So I'm actually just gonna say this is my first time seeing it. So I was a little bit, the Spicoli character was fun, but I've never seen Sean Penn like this. Like you said, he just looks like when you look at him, it's like, what did I do wrong, Sean? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But this Sean Penn, this guy seems cool. I could chill out with this guy. And just he orders food for class. That's hilarious. That was probably my favorite scene aside from the Phoebe Cates scene.
Yeah. It's funny too, you see him here and that's obviously his real hair. It's Sean Penn's real hair. And then you look at his hair now and you're like, it's like school dad hair.
It's what I like was just felt comfortable because I am from the 80s, so if I watch an 80s movie, I just feel like I'm there already. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember when times were simpler, So I guess I just kind of like that feel of it. I like the 80s feel of it.
Yeah.
So it felt comfortable to me, and, these are people I knew, actors I knew growing up, so this was kind of cool to see this for the first time and actually get to see it from front to back and not just the one scene.
You remember the vibe, right? What it was like in the 80s. Well, I mean, we were just kids.
And when they start off with the arcades, too, right? Yeah. You're like, yeah, I remember the arcade.
Do they even exist anymore?
No,
Arcades
not
even
really.
exist?
I mean, there's in some bigger cities, I think, but some places have arcades, but not really around here.
No.
But yeah, like Spicoli's hanging out at the arcade, and like kids are getting. I don't know what's going on. There's quarters, like quarters to play video games. It seems so foreign now.
Yeah, what do you use quarters for now, really? I mean, you make a payphone call, which
No, you don't do anymore
you
either.
do. In the South End, actually, there's a payphone at the Shoppers Drug Mart.
Oh God.
Telling you. I actually took a picture of it.
They
at one
still
point, 'cause
exist.
I was
I took
like,
a
wow.
picture.
I was like, wow,
Cool.
really? Let me touch those hard
I didn't
metal
know I
buttons,
came to a museum today.
while wearing gloves.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
possibly a tissue or something and kicking,
You had hand sanitizer nearby, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Gross.
Yeah,
This
so
thing next to your mouth.
I just like the feel of the movie. It felt comfortable, and I liked getting to see these iconic scenes for the first time. In context.
Well, you see references to this movie all the time, and then you wonder where that reference comes from, and then you watch the movie, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's where this comes from.
I got a lot more of that from Animal House actually, but yeah,
Yeah.
I got it from this too.
Well, what scenes that stood out the most for you guys in this one? Because I don't see a lot of scenes pulled out of this movie as much.
The Spicoli character, the Phoebe Cates pool scene.
The
Judge
character's heights.
Reinhold,
Like I said,
the
some of-
ending. Oh, so sorry. Here's one of my other favorite scenes, and maybe this should be my favorite. Mention my favorite is the very end when Judge Reinhold just had enough of people's shit.
Yeah.
And he takes that coffee and he throws it in the burglar's face who's trying to rob him. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's just getting pissed on the whole movie. And you're like, yeah, go Judge Reinhold. You're like,
Judge and executioner.
Yeah.
Hot coffee in the face. Huh.
So I've seen that spoof before too. So that was cool to see where it came from. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So and my least favorite was
Go ahead, say it. Rat.
yeah, I'm gonna have to say him.
Everyone hates that.
He's just such a little wiener, dude.
He's not interesting to watch. That's the thing.
I think he's your typical teenager who's so awkward on all levels.
But I've
that
seen,
you want to see him
I've seen
succeed,
the-
but he never bothers to.
I've seen the awkward teen played by characters who are much more relatable, like Jason Biggs, or
Yeah.
I've seen other dorky teens play the character better, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think it's also a character that is in a lot of us, right? I mean, maybe if you're the type that grew up at high school where you didn't quite get the best of attention from those around you, that's exactly why you have characters like Jason Biggs, or played by, or Rat in this case, right? These are characters you want
But
to
at
see.
least Jason Biggs scores, you know what I mean?
Does
this
he?
guy... Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
With what's-her-face at the end there.
Yeah.
Can't remember her name right now.
Bandcamp.
You're right.
Bandcamp girl. What's the actress's name from? She's also in How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the redhead. I know who you're talking about.
Also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Just hold on, I'll get it, guys.
I forgot her name.
Anywhoots. So I mean, I'm gonna say that might be my least favorite, but also his friend's a scuzzball. Damone, he's a big piece of shit. So
Yeah, but I don't even
but
think
whatever.
they're
That's
really friends.
that's
Are
a
they
part
really
of the
friends?
story. Well, I don't think Damone considers him so much a friend.
He relies on Damone.
Yeah. So it was kind of like when it comes to the end, is are we still friends? And he says, yeah. That's kind of it's he's kind of relieved that he would actually still want to be his friend after him macking on the girl having sex with the girl that he's trying to get with,
And now she's pregnant with Damone's kid.
right. So that's
Which
complicated.
makes the kid half scumbag.
So it's no wonder they had.
What's your lineage? I'm half Polish, half scumbag. Damone was my dad. Oh,
I want to
really?
say it's Allison Hannigan.
Yeah, Allison Hannigan.
Oh, Hannigan. There you go. Yes, Allison Hannigan. Yes, that's her.
Yes.
Buffy, American Pie, How I Met Your Mother.
I actually like her. In
Yeah, I like
How
her
Met
too.
Your
Same
Mother.
Yeah, I like her actually in all those roles.
Yeah.
She's a good little actress.
Good little actress.
Good little actress. I don't know why I said it that way. Thanks for making it sound weird.
No. It was weird. I just brought it out. Okay, so
All right.
so Rat's your least favorite.
I guess.
It's actually hard, really, to watch this movie and just hate on something because it's such a fun.
Okay, you know what? Here's my actual least favorite. Considering all the other movies I watched, the other movies are just more fun. Animal House and Dazed and Confused. This one it definitely had more of a serious subject matter, and I think in the long run that's gonna kind of like hurt it. Like, I mean, it's kind of cool because it's different than the other two at least.
Well, there were
So
real
that's good.
consequences in this movie for the characters, though, so it was a
And
bit
that's
heavier
good,
than those.
but because of that, I think that's where my score comes down. Because it's not a movie I'm going to want to come back and revisit over and over again, because I'm just going to be like, oh. But, you know, that's what people... But maybe that's what makes the movie. I don't know. This is my first time seeing the movie. Maybe I'll like it on repeated viewings, or maybe I'll like it less. I don't know. But I feel like it's just not as strong as the others because it doesn't leave me with that warm feeling at the end.
Okay, let's put it this way then. Since we're talking so much about Animal House, about Dazed and Confused, and about Fast Times at Ridgemont High, if you had to choose, which one would you have a sequel made to?
Oh, a sequel.
You know what I mean? Like, not saying...
How about none?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying if you actually had to, because this is the only one with real character development. You could drop in to this movie.
But the thing is, if I were to make a sequel, I'd probably only take the Spicoli character and work with something with him.
Well, that's the thing, because you would, like, after high school, all of these characters, since they lead such different lives...
And honestly, I just want to see Sean Penn happy again. He just seems so sad.
Give us a smile, Sean Penn.
Maybe if he was grew his hair out, dyed a blonde, and started being Spicoli again...
Oh my god.
Sean Penn could learn to smile.
Actually, I think it would be a smart move if they were to make a sequel that keeps the Spicoli character, but also bring in Judge's character back to tie in two anchor points.
And he's a judge? Boom!
Well, they're adults trying to live their adult lives but having their own teenage spawn.
Judge Reinhold ends up becoming a fucking, like, complete party animal, and Sean Penn winds up being the button down.
Being a judge.
Spicoli winds up being a judge. There you go. And he's like super buttoned down, and it's like Robin Williams in Pan all over again, and Judge Reinhold
has to teach him how to party again.
And then by the end, he's like, man, Mr. Hand, and he's like growing his hair out, and yeah.
Oh god, I think we put too much thought into this.
Bury this, Hollywood.
Faster times at Ridgemont High.
Oh my god, bury this idea deep.
No, it's
use
done.
This.
Someone's making that movie now. It's too late. Faster times at Ridgemont High is happening.
And then the third part could be Fastest Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah. And they'll all be 80 by that time.
God.
Fastest
and then
times
Phoebe Cates will still do the pool scene.
Oh my god. Wow.
If she could pull that off there, I'd be fine with it. Who knows?
No.
She could probably still sport that red bikini.
I'm not even sure how to respond to that.
Yeah, you just...
Let's just leave you with that thought, folks.
I'm a 50-year-old grandmother of 3.
So, chasing gremlins around. You can follow the conversation at We Promise Nothing. Drop the G. Give us a big old like on Facebook. We got over 100 likes. Yes! Thank you, fans, for helping us with that. And we guarantee... something we will promise you is that more content is coming.
Oh, yeah.
Late Night Ticket, Season 3 is coming out. We got more retro reviews just like this in audio format. We got more video format. We got more video, folks, because we know you guys want it. You guys demanded it. We are going to make some more video, so keep an eye out for that when we do more movie quotes in the future and some other specials that we have in the pipeline. So anyways, like I said, check us out on Twitter. Give us a like on Facebook. Subscribe, share on YouTube. And if you disagree with anything we said here or... yeah, you can leave a comment.
Let's face it, there's lots to disagree with.
Yeah.
Angry hate mail can be directed to
Clayton Knott at...
Yeah. We'd like to remind you that the views of Clayton Knott do not necessarily reflect the views of We Promise Nothing as a whole.
Except with the Phoebe Cates thing.
Well,
I wholeheartedly agree on that.
Which is the only part that anybody's going to come down on us about, really.
I mean, if you want to leave comments, folks, I encourage you.
Yeah.
Whether positive or negative, go ahead. If you've listened this far and you're like, I think I will leave a comment, just go ahead and do it.
An angry comment.
Angry comment, a happy comment. We prefer happy, but if you're going to do angry, hell, it gets us attention.
Yeah.
Comments.
Just comment.
Yeah.
Give us attention. We love soup.
We love soup.
Alright, so leave a comment below. But as always, we promise Phoebe. I mean,
Phoebe.
nothing.
Nothing.
Good night, everybody.
Wait.